instances of paranormal phenomena have been reported in this desolate place. Events that may reflect the area's tragic past.
Through.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the Dangerous Podcast. We talk all things paranormal. I'm Ken James, and this is Jason McKittrick.
Hey, folks.
And if you can hunt, howl, or dwell in the dark, we want to talk about it. And tonight, forgot my reading glasses and not feeling good about it, but we're heading to some haunted libraries.
Uh-oh.
Good news. Good news, gang. Found my reading glasses. Just in the nick of time. Forgot where they were. Popping them on. Boom. Insta sexy. All right, guys. We're going to, Jay doesn't like them too much. I find them quite becoming. Yeah, my eyes are going. I'm just old now. That's just fact. I'm an old, crotchety, salty dog. That's where I'm at. But before we get into these haunted libraries, I will be bringing you tonight's jump scare. Alright guys, so back on the crazy train I am, I've had a fun little experience in our last recording session over at our good buddy Jason McKittrick's. So we go through like our 3 episode sessions, and then we'll fill in a couple Zooms here and there just because life is crazy. So when I go over there, Jay goes bring some laundry. I'll do some laundry there because my apartment complex sucks for that. And so we finish our recording session. Alright, Jay closes the office door, we head up. He's got some family over, gonna do a little barbecue action, a little hanging. About, I would say, an hour and a half after we finish recording.
Something like that.
Yeah, I go down to the basement. All the lights are off. I've been down there a million times at this point. I go lean down to check the dryer, see if the clothes still dry. Okay, not yet. Throw it back on. Hit the button. As I stand up, I hear a fucking voice from his office and where we have our people like studios in there. It was pretty fucking terrifying. God, my best description of what it sounded like, I guess my impression would be like, something like that. Like a Star Wars character.
Like a Russian Bigfoot?
Yeah, Russian Bigfoot, words in reverse, German. I don't know dialect. I just know that it sounded scary shit, and it was definitely talking to me. Now, as I hear this, I inch my way over to look into the office to see if there's some Bluetooth speaker on. Maybe his computer came on and he's got some background of, Russian Bigfoot. No lights were on, everything was off. And then I realized, shit, that was just a voice talking to me. And it was clear as day, it was right in the room. We were recording there. I know audio. I know how that works. And so I go upstairs and I go, guys, to Jay and his wife, Christina. I go, I just heard a voice down there, to which Christina comes down with me. She turns the lights on. And I'm telling her what happened. And she goes, all right, let's just close this door. So she closes the office door. We go back up. To which Jay goes, oh, the door was open? That's weird, because he always closes it when he's done in there, when we're done in there. And yeah, it was open. And the voice was weird. And I proceeded for the next hour 45 to 2 hours, chain smoking out back and feeling like an absolute lunatic.
And confirmed.
Yeah, he confirmed it, that I did do that /lunatic. It was fucking wild. And I ended up saying to him at one of the points where I was back in the house with his family and everything, I said, you get to that point where it's been so long since you had like a legit experience like that. To where you kind of just think it's all fake again. Like you get to the point where like, this isn't real.
Right.
My mind has always been playing tricks on me. Then you hear something like that and it freaks you the fuck out again. And it wasn't like, I went back down a bunch of other times to check in the dark. It wasn't like, oh, I'm not going back down there. It was like, no, that happened. Mm-hmm. And it was one of those rare things that happened. It got to the point where I thought he was fucking with me. I know he's, but I was like, dude, are you fucking, like, I got mad at him a couple times, like, a big laugh at Ken. Is that what this is? This is a big, let's pull a sillies on Kenny boy, and he's like, no, I
was not.
yeah. He's like, what? I got a soundboard down there. I don't know what you do. I don't know what you got going on, man. And yeah, it was fucked up, and the voice was it was direct. And then we went back down. We were looking at stuff, and I explained where it came from. I showed him. I was like, go stand by the dryer. Here's how it sounded. Here was the volume. And he's like, you sure it wasn't him upstairs? You can hear him through the vents. I'm like, no, it wasn't through the vents. It was right there. It was a voice, and it scared the shit out of me, quite honestly. And yeah, and at first we were talking, and it's been 3 weeks since this.
Yeah, something like that.
I was like, I don't know if I want to talk about this, but now I'm at the point of life where I'm like, fuck it, let's go. I don't care. I don't care if I'm a lunatic or whatever, but I heard it. It freaked me the fuck out, and that is this week's jump scare.
Yeah, I think we'll link back to this when we have our we have a couple episodes coming up, some personal it's basically a layout of all of our personal paranormal experiences.
Yeah.
And we had recorded part 1 right before that happened.
Yes.
So it was kind of interesting too, because something had happened in the basement that day before Ken came over, and I'll leave that for the episode. But I don't know if it was just primed. I don't know what's going on, but Ken scared the shit out of all of us.
Yeah, well, it was. Tell you what, buddy, it scared the shit out of me. And I asked him and Christina, I said, you guys ever seen me scared? Like, have you ever seen me pale in the face? Like,
no,
this
Ken's,
just like, yeah.
Ken's a big brave dog.
I'm a big brave dog. I've done this kind of stuff, and it was just how it happened. And I felt so stupid because, like, I know the stories of stuff we've talked about here,
Yeah.
and like me going, ooh, this just happened. Like, it made me feel so fucking stupid, but it happened, so I had to say it. I wasn't just gonna like not go, guess what the fuck just happened,
Yeah.
And it was wild, and I heard it, and I wish I was a cop and had a chest cam or whatever. That I would be recording the sound at all times.
Right.
But that's all I can say about that. It fucking sucked, but it was awesome. I came home, and me and Britt were using an app, a translator app, to like put words in, and like she's like, is this it in German? Is this it in Russian? And we're like, close the fucking door, or like the door is open, and we kept like running through, and I'm like, no, because it's not the right inflection. And I was telling her, like, babe, you don't fucking get it. Like, it was fucking right there, man. You don't know.
You're at the 30th retelling. Look, babe, you don't fucking get it.
Yeah, really. Yeah. Hey, listen, you don't know. I was there, man.
Yeah.
I was there, man.
Man.
Yeah.
Hey, it's weird, man. It really is. And,
Oof.
some weird
Gross.
stuff has been. It is. I mean, I haven't heard voices here. I'm glad, but
Yeah.
maybe my turn is next. I don't know.
If you, I'll know it, because like you'll randomly give me the dude and like not say anything, and I'm like, what is going on? And then I'll get the rest, and I'm like, oh, okay.
Right, and it won't be
Like-
just me texting you about the Sierra sounds.
Yeah. No, that was the latest, which I'm always in for that. I'm like, yes.
Yeah, it puts
absolutely.
things in perspective.
It really does. It really does. Because after that, what did we do? We played Ryan the Sierra Sounds and the Art Bell Area 51 tape.
Which Ryan now listens to Art Bell, like all like the old stuff on YouTube,
Yeah.
like back to back to back. He's like, dude, it's so good.
It is. It really is.
Speaking of which, folks, if you don't know what we're talking about, seek it out. Art Bell, original, before podcasts were a thing, original paranormal radio,
Coast to coast, baby.
coast to coast. Good stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And it became George Norrie. Well, he's all right.
Yeah,
In
it's
Art
fine.
Bell. Yeah, it's fine.
Exactly. It's passable.
All right, guys. So after that, and you guys are just at home right now listening, like fucking Ken again.
Yeah,
with
again,
his
huh?
madness. Yeah, again with his madness. Evil trucks chasing him down in New York and
Yeah.
seeing weird shit all the time. You're like, this
Yeah.
guy's got a tumor in his brain that is
Yeah.
doing this to him. So yeah,
Ken's got ghosts in his underwear.
yeah, I got ghost pants, dude. My pants are haunted. So moving on from that, let's go talk about some haunted libraries. Talk to some
Yeah,
people
haunted
about
libraries.
something.
I feel like we almost did this one before, and then we just didn't. But how did
Could've
we
been.
not get to haunted libraries? There's so many. Like, as soon as I cracked it open, it's like haunted schools and haunted lighthouses. They're
Yeah.
they're everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, they kind of go hand in hand with like just spookiness because
Yeah.
you got to be quiet. You know, a lot of like it's old. There's books.
Right.
What's around that show? What's around this show? You
Right,
can get
and-
lost in them. You know.
Exactly, and of course, this show wouldn't be complete if we had mentioned the famous library ghost from Ghostbusters, which I'm sure most of us were introduced to the concept of a haunted library with that movie. You know,
Yeah. Goo
that
on
was
the
your plan.
books.
Get her, huh?
Yeah, get her. Dude, I love it. Scary, spooky, and forever resonates in the old ODP trap. You know, back here.
You know it.
I
You
do.
know it. So we got 10 of these bad boys. No particular order, but all in the United States because come on. But yeah, so we've got a tidy little list. Some of these actually, almost all of these, never even heard of before, which was really great. So, you know, we're in for some new stuff. So I guess I'll kick it off with the first one.
Sure.
All right. So first up, we have the Willard Library. So Indiana's oldest library is also America's most haunted library. So they say, right?
Get out of town.
Right. So William Carpenter began building the Willard Library in Evansville in 1881. He was a businessman and devoted public servant, but he had nothing to do with his own 3 children. In fact, he told his daughter Louise she would receive nothing when he died. Carpenter passed away after suffering a stroke in 1883, 2 years before the library was complete. He left all of his money to the public charity. The library was a bitter reminder to his family that he loved the city more than them. 50 years after the library opened, a custodian quit his job after seeing a ghost of a woman in a gray dress and shawl. Patrons and employees have seen the apparition hundreds of times since. They've named her the Gray Lady. We got another Gray Lady. They're
Dude.
Our country's lousy with these
Yeah.
broads.
Yes. That we cannot raid them away. We can't spray them with anything.
No,
They're here to stay.
I want them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're like, you know, they're the staples at the ghost party.
Yeah, they're the salt of the ghost world.
Yes. Some people say her appearance is accompanied by a strong scent of musky perfume. Others say they've witnessed water faucets, spigots, and lights turning on and off. She's also known to move books and furniture. The library received so many reports of sightings, they installed webcams so people around the world can search for her. That's a new thing I noticed they've been doing. Like at haunted places, they installed that webcam.
This
And-
one around the JK Cinema time.
Yeah.
This one, and that's where I recognize the
Yeah.
name. They have been doing this for a while,
Yes.
and I actually used to tune in every once in a while. And
Yeah,
then
it's kinda cool.
after 20 minutes, they'd be like, "Let's see. And
No,
what am I
they're
going
not.
to do if I do? You know, what am I going to do if I do see anything?"
Exactly. Oh my god, I just saw it. Fuck.
Yeah, they would also have a link on the web page where
Yes.
you go to things that people captured,
Yes.
and you'd click on it, and they'd have pictures, and most of them you're like, that's just a fucking
It's a smudge.
this is a smudge.
Yep.
It's not the Gray Lady.
No one knows for sure who the Gray Lady is, but many believe it's Carpenter's daughter Louise, still holding a grudge against her father.
I would.
Yeah, of course you would. Willard Library is open to the public, so you can search for the Gray Lady in person, and they're even hosting free Gray Lady ghost tours throughout the month of, you guessed it, October.
Bringing them greenbacks.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. That's me right on the money there.
Yeah, you know, it's
Yeah.
that's what you got to do, man. You know, when you find that you have a ghost,
Yeah, quote unquote.
yeah, man, you want to bring those tourist dollars.
Yeah.
Best way to keep those places open.
Yeah, put the meat in the seats, man.
Yeah.
You know what? If there was a chance of generational wealth, and they were like, "Nah, you get
Yeah.
nothing," I'd be
Yeah.
haunting. I'd be haunting the place that he bought. You know,
Oh,
that he
yeah.
put the money into.
Yeah.
No, oh, your jag-off book. Knock
Mhm.
that over. Oh, you want me to be quiet? You know, like whatever. That's what I'd be doing. That's a good. I'd be the ghostly trio in that place.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yep.
All right, so should we take a trip down to Arkansas for our next stop?
Yeah. Let's go over to Arkansas, Arkansas. Some people make.
Nobody says that, but sure.
No one does that. But it's fun to read it that way. So this is the the Saline County Library, the home of this Arkansas library from the 1967 to 2003 was converted theater building, the old Palace Theater, librarians began to suspect that the building was haunted after hearing phantom footsteps, seeing paperback carousels rotating by themselves, and as well as books falling off the shelves, just like I said I would have did. So this sounds like you got a Ken ghost, an angry Ken ghost in this place.
Yeah, I mean, you're probably not wrong. But, Arkansas, it's one of those territories where it's like they got haunted jails, haunted libriaries, not much else.
Home of Bill Clinton. That's what he was,
maybe. Sure. I mean, is that where he's really from? I think it's. I think it's a whole.
All I know is in NBA Jam.
Yeah.
To unlock him as a character, you had to put ARK for Arkansas.
I remember that.
And then put the
I
code
remember
in,
that. That's funny.
Him and Air Dog with a team
right.
to put together.
Right.
Yeah.
So the Saline County Library has its beginnings like most other small libraries around the country. It was begun by a social organization which often took on civic projects to benefit the surrounding community. In this case, it was the Benton Junior Fortnightly Club of Benton. They were probably killing people. That was like a eyes wide shut kind of thing. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, gross.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's who took on the task. The library was located on the second floor of the Walton Building in downtown Benton and opened in 1931. As with most libraries, the first location and many subsequent locations of the Saline County Library became too small to hold the library's ever-growing collection. 7 years after the opening, the library was moved to a building next to City Hall. 10 years beyond that, it was relocated again to a former doctor's office. There would be 3 more moves over the next few years before the library finally settled into its own building in 2002. A second location was dedicated in 2003, so they're getting crazy over there.
Well, yeah, it's like Andy Dufresne's, collecting the books for this place.
Yeah, yep.
He just doesn't stop sending letters, and they're just like, stop sending letters.
Yeah.
And books, and they keep doing it.
Yeah. You tell me, fuckwad, they're all addressed to you. Whatever he calls them.
Yeah. Shit stain, I think it might be.
Yeah,
like
there's fuck stick. Like he's creative in that movie.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, if I hear a mouse fart,
What is it? Myron Hadley. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
So the interesting thing about this library's haunted history is that it's from a former location, not the current one, and the alleged hauntings might not have anything to do with the library. So as you mentioned before, from 1967 to 2003, the library was housed in an old theater, the Old Palace Theater. One reported story is that the director once heard the sound of typewriters inside the building.
Yes.
Even though there hadn't been typewriters of that type used in there for years. Other librarians reported hearing phantom footsteps, seeing like you said, the paperback carousels rotating on their own, and then books flying off of shelves, and books stacking themselves.
Yes. Yes. So we know with the where they got the stuff from Ghostbusters.
Even though they said in Philadelphia, which I was like, oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
As there are no stories to be found of former librarians who passed on yet couldn't quite let go of their earthly duties to the patrons of the library, they're more inclined to believe that whatever ghosts there might be are from the days when the Old Palace Theater served its true purpose to the people of Saline County. And that's all we have for that. So it's a haunted library only because it used to be a theater, and we've talked quite a few times.
Yeah. Well, also too, you got to think, well, how many times they move it? 3 times.
More
than that. I found it's like
yeah,
right. So
yeah.
I think it's one of those ones that's like the snowball effect. You're just picking up ghosts
the books
every
are
move.
haunted.
Yeah. Well, the whole everything. The people brought the ghosts with them. They had attachments. Zach was like, get them off, and then they stayed there, and they moved. They got on. Zach came again, said, get off.
Right.
And that's what they do. They get the attachments. The books are haunted. The shelves are haunted.
Right.
My pants are haunted. So at this point, I get it. I know the situation.
So if you have a library card, it's haunted as well.
Yes. Especially when you go to the ones that now were like, you could just like rent movies and watch YouTube and like rent video games.
You can rent stuffed animals.
Yeah, you can. Dude, it's wild. Libraries are weird now.
Yeah, because kids don't want books.
No, they're like, get them in. Tell them there's, they're like, well, what toys do they like? Like, I don't know, fucking Beanie Babies, and they're like,
right.
I'll borrow that one.
Right.
If I ever go to a library and it's the Undertaker one, WWE,
yeah.
Stone Cold, guess who's not returning those?
Yeah, it's true.
Yep.
It's true.
This guy. All right. Let's move on to the next one. Peoria Public Library? Yeah. This public library is said to have been cursed in 1847 by Mary Stevenson Gray, or Gray, who previously owned the land where the library now stands. The curse is rumored to have caused the untimely deaths of 3 library directors in the early 20th century, who now haunt the library. So beautiful. Beautiful golf clap.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. Yeah, unlike the other libraries so far, this library's fate was doomed from the start because the land on which the library is built was cursed by the previous tenant, like you said. A little more detail on this. It all started in 1830 with Mrs. Andrew Gray and the death of her brother, after which she gained custody of her nephew. The nephew refused to get a job and generally trod on the wrong side of the law. Son of a bitch. Probably had a black leather jacket and everything.
Yeah, right. Yep. He's in a doo-wop group.
Yep.
It was awful.
Yep. Fucking greaser.
Yeah.
And Mrs. Gray was forced to hire a lawyer to smooth things over. He killed somebody. David Davis was a newly made lawyer come to town and was hired by the Grays. He that's the family, not the aliens. He definitely got Mrs. Gray's nephew out of any jam, but he had an increasing debt to the Grays. Concerned over payment, Davis forced the Grays to use their home as collateral for his services, and when the bill came due, Davis sued to collect.
Stewed?
He may have had like stew. I mean, who doesn't? But
Yeah,
Davis,
people like stew.
they sure do. Davis sued to collect the mortgage as his fees, and his nephew was given the boot. Soon after, the nephew's lifeless body was discovered floating in the Illinois River. These lawyers, man.
These are the good lawyers from back, the
Yeah.
ones that used to get shit done.
Yeah. Mrs. Gray then cursed the property and all future occupants. How did she do that?
She's probably a witch.
Probably. That's true. They're everywhere. The curse seemed to work, for after Davis assumed the property, nothing would grow on the very land where Mrs. Gray had cultivated beautiful gardens. Beautiful gardens.
The most beautiful gardens.
It was the first ghostly appearances were reported. That of Mrs. Gray's nephew banging on the door, begging to be let in. That's pretty fucked up. Imagine that in the middle of the night.
Yeah,
That's worse than I'm cold.
And I'm thinking too, like the big metal rapping, you know.
Yeah.
Oh. But wasn't he a pain in the ass, her nephew? You know.
I mean, he deserved it. Apparently, he was.
Right. But she's like so mad. You think that like, what? She cares that much?
I guess. I don't know, man. So in 1894, the city of Peoria purchased the property on Monroe Street when Mrs. Andrew Gray once lived. A library was built on the property, though there is some debate over whether it was built exactly where Mrs. Gray's house once stood or on another part of the property, but general vicinity.
Yeah, it's around there. Roundabouts.
Considering that at the time of the land purchase, there were 3 different lots which made up the purchase, it's entirely feasible to believe that the library is not built directly on the same footprint as the house. At any rate, the first 3 directors of the new library died under unusual circumstances. A sure sign that the curse was working even beyond the existence of the house. The first director, E.S. Wilcox, was killed in a streetcar accident in 1915. The second, Samuel Patterson Prowse, died from a heart attack suffered at a library board meeting in 1921. And the third, Dr. Edwin Wiley, committed suicide by swallowing arsenic in 1924. One might surely think that these were all coincidences and that Dr. Wiley had previously established depressive episodes, but at the time of the events, Mrs. Gray's curse was foremost in everyone's minds. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, but, like if it was all from like the same thing or something.
Right.
Like this just seems like, life expectancy back then.
Sure,
It's
but
like,
you got 1915,
one guy like
1921, 1924, all deaths on that property, not old age deaths. I see where people could go.
Right, yeah, I get it too, but it's also like streetcars are new.
Yeah.
This guy's like, oh, I wonder how fast it goes. Bang, and then like,
wow.
The next guy just has a heart attack because he's probably I don't know, opiumed out or something, whatever they did.
Right.
Cocaine, like all of it mixed into like one bottle. Was the miracle cure.
Yeah.
It was cocaine, heroin.
Yeah. Didn't they just call that Coca-Cola?
Yeah, pretty much. They're like, this will cure everything. They mix it up. Like the carbonation will get you though. Watch out, and they hand it to you. It was whoop, done.
Yep.
It was the second time doing it, and the last guy, was just like, oh, this place sucks.
Yeah. He was like, you know what? Fuck it. He was like, anyone got some arsenic?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Well,
He's like, oh, no. He was like, oh, we're all out of the miracle cure that took the last one. Maybe arsenic will do it.
sure.
You know. This just lets you know the mood I'm in.
Right.
This has been a rough week for me. Sorry, gang. Sorry.
It's okay. It's just Ken bringing his personal stuff onto the show as per usual.
Yeah.
Though the
Hey. Fuck me, right?
yeah, you know, and tell the folks what you're wearing right now. I think they'd appreciate that.
Oh, dude. So about 2 months before the Olympics started, I was at Walmart and I saw this sick ass USA tank top. It's red and blue. It's got a big USA in blue, white lining, and it's got first place Bugs with the gold. Second Taz, he's got gold too for some weird reason, and then Daff, he's third, and yeah, he's got gold too. So it's an Olympic Looney Tunes USA tank,
Right.
and it's fucking, dude. I'm not gonna say it, but it does deserve the Wendigo riff. We don't have to do it.
Go ahead, man. You're the
All right.
issuer of it. Go ahead.
All right, for my tank top, Wendigo riff. Yeah, it kicks ass, and you know that I just needed it to get through today.
Right.
That's all.
You need the Wendigo riff.
Yeah, I needed
There
it.
you go.
Absolutely.
Well, give yourself
Right.
another one. Have another right there. Beautiful.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So, though the directors are long gone, Mr. Wilcox seems to have a fondness for the library even after his tenure in life came to an end. Patrons have reported seeing a man wandering the halls dressed in early 20th century attire. Employees have seen his face in a basement doorway. Ew.
Like it.
Among other things, such as hearing their names called when no one is around and feeling cold drafts where there ought not to be any. Hauntings are not the only strange things about the library. In 1907, school superintendent Newton Doherty blew up a safe inside the library to hide evidence of embezzlement of school funds.
Dude, Newton totally would have done that.
Yeah.
That's a Newton thing to
Nah.
do. Yeah. Nah, I'm Newton. Nah. Call me Newt.
Yeah, I blow up safes.
Yeah.
The library was also part of a blackmail plot following the death of George P. McNear Jr. McNear's widow received 2 different letters informing her that she would be given the name of her husband's murderer if she left $1,000 in a special drawer in the 3rd floor education room of the Peoria Public Library. William A. Gibson and his son Billy Gibson were arrested for blackmail when they showed up to receive the cash.
Dude, $1,000 is like $1 million back then.
Something like that.
That's wild.
Dude, hell yeah.
That's the accurate exchange rate too, by the way.
Whatever you say it is.
Yeah, thanks, man.
That's a Wendigo exchange rate.
Yes. Yeah, well, what are you going to do, man? You get Wendigo money, it's worth way more.
Oh, yeah.
You can
Hell yeah.
find it.
Yeah,
You
and
can
it-
find it wrestled away from you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Scary stuff. All right, guys. Post Wendigo money theft, we're going to go to the Scottsdale Public Library. The Arabian Civic Center branches, the Scottsdale, Arizona Public Library, have been investigated by professional ghost hunters Sonoran Paranormal Investigations and have been found to be haunted. The investigation was done at the library's request after many reports of books and other objects moving by themselves, cold spots in the library, and more. So the Arabian and Civic Center branches.
Yes. It doesn't make much sense, but it's there. So the Scottsdale Public Library System serves the residents of Scottsdale, Arizona, as well as the rest of Maricopa County and all visitors to the area. And it's run by the city of Scottsdale. The first library for Scottsdale opened in 1955 in the Adobe House, which was at the time also serving as the community center. Can we all say Adobe? Adobe. Yeah. It was open only 2 hours, 2 days a week, and had a collection of 300 donated books. 4 years later, the Friends of the Library nonprofit was begun to raise additional funds for the library and offer additional support. In 1960, the town of Scottsdale assumed responsibility for the library, and in 1968, a new 3,700 square foot main library was opened. Today, there's 5 branches of the main branch, Civic Center. 4 of the 5 branches are named for horse breeds: Mustang, Palomino, Arabian, and Appaloosa. So that's why we have those names.
That's cool.
So let's get down on the hauntings. As you stated before, the main branch and the Arabian branch are the 2 which are alleged to be haunted. It's not easy to find any stories of what seems to go on at either location other than vague references to books flying off the shelf and unexplained voices being heard. Whoever or whatever haunts each of the 2 branches is not malevolent in any way. According to the investigation team Sonoran Paranormal Investigators, the team who has been to both branches to attempt to help the library gain some answers in 2010. So at the Arabian branch, voices were recorded, one of which was heard without the aid of a recording device. Huh?
Okay.
Right, that's what we're just
Okay.
talking about.
All right.
Synchronicity, bro. There were also responses on the team's K2 meter to verbal prompts in the children's reading room, especially when one of the investigation team members read, "Mary had a little lamb." Also, a video camera, which was left on its own to record any ghostly activity, was inexplicably knocked over when no one was around.
It was like, fuck this. This book goes over there. Fuck it.
Yep.
Charlotte's Web, Jack. Goff throws it, knocks over the brushes behind him.
Yep. Fuck this thing in particular.
Yep.
The Civic Center investigation found some moderate activity in the room containing historical documents. A photograph of the late Scottsdale Mayor Bud Timms hangs in the room, and whenever it is moved, electronic devices start to, quote, act funny. A male voice was recorded 3 times saying the word no in response to various questions.
Okay.
And that's what we got.
See, I like that though, because there's 5 buildings and they're going 2 out of 5.
Yeah.
They're not going like, if every time they're like, oh, every inch of this place is teeming with the paranormal.
Email, sir.
The ghouls of the night haunt every inch of all 5 billion.
Yeah.
Once you get into that territory,
Yeah.
you're like, all
It's
right.
like there's 5 separate ghosts, each with a different part of the key to open the door. It's like, nope.
Yeah. All with super distinct personalities
Yes.
and super abilities.
And color
You have to-
schemes.
Yeah, collect them all this fall.
Mhm.
Goofy library ghost from Mattel. And then it ends.
Hey, man, I wish that was real.
Yeah, we should pitch that to Mattel.
Yeah.
Get them in a meeting. We're like, all right, sit down, fucks. We got some for
Yep.
like straight up 80s coked out
Yep,
style.
we're going back to the
Get them-
80s. Yep.
Yeah. Get them all like flashback, like, oh my god, this is how it used to be.
Yeah, we're going to take risks.
Yeah. They're like, how much do you want? We're like $5 million
A day.
They're like, yeah, a day. And they're like, with that exchange rate, that's $5,000. You got it. They're like, that's not even Wendigo money.
Exactly. It sure isn't. That's like Puckwudgie money.
Yeah, and everyone knows about the Pugwatches. Trying to speak English as best they can. Silly bitches.
Just gibberish.
Yeah. Hey, you, conmigo. Like, yes. What are you, like 5? What are you, a 4-year-old?
They're the clowns of the paranormal world.
Conmigo. It's like, oh, why didn't you Google it? You want to Google it? Why don't you look it up on Google?
Why don't you head us over to the 5th location, Ken?
Sorry. Yeah, sorry. All right, guys.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
It's Thursday. I get it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Let's take a stroll over to the Ramona Convent Secondary School. This school library in Alhambra, California, was founded in 1889 and is one of the oldest operating schools in the state. A nun in white habit has been seen by students roaming around the library. So, all right.
Ghost
all right.
nun.
Ghost nuns. Not like the one in the movies from Blumhouse.
Don't get me
More
started.
like Bumhouse.
Ugh. Like Scrum House.
Yeah,
I
man.
don't know.
Yeah.
So, people enjoy ghost stories for a number of reasons, right, Ken? For some, it is the mild adrenaline rush of being slightly frightened. Adolescents especially engage in recounting these stories since it is usually done in groups and reinforces the cohesion of the group through sharing an often memorable experience together. Like YouTube
Yeah.
videos.
Yeah.
Schools, universities, fraternities, sororities, and even companies strengthen their cultures through recounting ghost stories. It's actually true.
Yeah.
It used to be a big thing. Ghost stories also preserve the art of storytelling. In our advanced technology age, the skill of active storytelling in a group is slipping out of fashion, which kind of sucks. I mean, it used to be a kind of
It really
thing.
does.
We brought that up, right? Remember the Christmas Eve tradition of telling
Yeah.
ghost stories? I wish that would make
Yeah.
a return
I just wish people would get together and tell ghost stories all the time.
every
Just-
season.
Yeah, all the time.
Yeah, just in the air conditioning in the summer.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Drink in hand.
Exactly. An entertaining, creepy story can transport us away from the reality of shitty daily life. So people connect with their lineage and neighborhood's history by recounting stories of the supernatural. In addition, these stories of the paranormal connect with the human desire to understand the idea of life after death. Ghost stories can also serve as an initiation for new members to a group. So the Ramona Convent Secondary School here in Alhambra, what we're talking about, has its own ghost story, and it concerns, as you mentioned, the ghost of the White Nun. Ramona Convent actually has a history longer than the incorporated city of Alhambra. The school was established in 1889 when Alhambra was incorporated in 1903. Ramona Convent Secondary School presents a college preparatory education for young women's grades 7 to 12 and is located on Ramona Road. It's part of the U.S. Department of Education Blue Ribbon School of Excellence and is fully accredited by the Western Association of Schools and Colleges, just to give them their bona fides.
Yeah.
As with so many of these stories, there seems to gain momentum and gathering a following as time goes on. The ghost of the White Nun has enjoyed some additions to its stature during recent years, especially in the last 12 months. After years of repetition, says Sister Kathleen Calloway, president of Ramona Convent, the story took an aura of truth. The legend goes that students have reported seeing the ghostly image of a nun dressed in white roaming around the campus, most notably in the library area. Sometimes a piano can be heard being played in one of the school buildings while no one is in the building.
Nice.
Ramona Convent has an orientation program for incoming freshmen each September. Although the orientation is heavily supervised with mentors and counselors, the legend of the White Nun is usually reinforced by her appearance at these orientations. Some suspect the upper class members are orchestrating the White Nun's appearance.
I was going to say.
Yeah, you know. On occasion, the White Nun has been known to even stop and pose for pictures. Yes. In September of 2010 was no different. One evening during orientation, the White Nun made her appearance at the top of a hill in full view of a group of startled freshmen. I don't know,
They
guys.
just told they got like the prettiest girl from the
Yeah.
sorority. They're like, babe, get up there.
Yeah.
It'll be sick. You're like the queen of the ball, you know? You get up
Like,
there.
really?
Yeah. Oh man, you think I'm pretty as a nun?
So the reaction was predictable. Lots of excited chatter from the girls, and a number of them yelled, "There's the nun!" So Ramona Convent enjoys a close relationship with the neighboring residential community, and even though "there's the nun" sounds innocent enough, nearby residents mistook this phrase from the students as "there's a gun." Mistakenly hearing
Oh
this,
shit!
alarmed neighbors immediately called the Alhambra police and repeated what they had thought they had heard. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what they're doing over there. I think they're trying to preserve this ghost nun thing, and then some wacko neighbor who's probably just should have been some nosy bitch who should have been paying her own business.
Yeah.
And they hear there's a gun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Oh my god, there's that what a way to ruin something fun and cool.
Yeah. Yeah. The fucking nosy neighbors fucking ruined it. As they do.
It drives me nuts, man.
Yeah.
That people just have to be involved. Like
Yes.
let them do their thing, you know?
How can I be involved in the legend?
Yeah, I'm the one who ruined it. I'll forever go down as the one who
A
ruined
ghost gun? Not on my
Yeah.
watch.
it. Yeah, watch this.
But that's all I got.
Yeah, all right. That pisses me off.
It does.
All right, guys. Let's go over to the Houston Public Library. Ghostly music can be heard in the Julia Idison building of the Houston Public Library. It is said to be the ghost of Julius Frank Kramer, a night janitor who practiced... that name is way too... That's not a night janitor name.
No?
Julius Frank Kramer?
Yeah, but think about him. He's known as the night janitor.
Yeah, but that would still be like, Buck Schatz or something. The night janitor who practiced playing a violin into the library after it was closed. He lived in a basement apartment in the building until he died in 1936.
Mm-hmm. Yep. This is, it's just one of these ones, man. The Houston Public Library, like the Scottsdale Library, got its start through an endowment through Andrew Carnegie and traces its existence back to 1854, where it began life as the Houston Lyceum. These fucking theaters, man.
Yeah, dude.
In 1904, a building resembling a miniature temple housed the Houston Lyceum and Carnegie Library. But
Miniature temple, dude?
yeah, sacrifices. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it.
Mutilations. But with the discovery of and subsequent oil boom, the city's population quickly tripled in the following 2 decades, and the city outgrew its tiny library. They also need a lot more, Stu. The library...
Who doesn't?
I mean, every town should have a stewatorium.
A stewardship.
I don't know.
It's good. No, I like that. Keep it up.
Yep. The librarian of the Houston Lyceum, one Julia Idison, was finally moved to complain publicly about the conditions within the cramped library. The collection was growing to such an extent that shelves were being put where shelves weren't meant to be. Like on her face. This growth left little space for people to actually do research and other work there at the library. While expansion to the existing building was not possible nor practical, land was sought elsewhere. Mayor A.E. Ammerman proposed a plot of city-owned land on the north bank of Buffalo Bayou near Capitol Avenue, an idea which Idison endorsed. This sounds like more Red Dead 2 shit. Like
Right, but that guy, he sounds more like a janitor than
A.E.
Julius.
Ammerman?
Yeah, more than Julius, dude.
Maybe he went by Julie. I don't know.
That's not a janitor's name.
I don't know, man. By 1926, the city would dedicate a new building named for the woman who advocated for the expansion of the Lyceum that would serve the city as the central library for 50 years. It was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1977. And then in
That's
1979, the Idison building underwent renovations and reopened as the Houston Metropolitan Research Center. The center has been designated as an official regional historical resource depository by the Texas State Library. And this is the building that is believed to be haunted.
I was going to say paranormal research.
Nope. So, although the Idison building has never been formally investigated, there are plenty of reports from workers who have experienced one thing or another, but all attributed to one man. So, they're calling him in this article, the ghostly manifestation is said to be that of Mr. Jacob Kramer, the library's first
That's it.
night.
That's perfect. Jacob Kramer?
Yeah.
Perfect name.
Yeah, so we're getting a little bit of conflicting info here, but he was the library's first night watchman, who also worked as a handyman and gardener. So, kind of like,
Bloody Mary style.
Yeah. He rented a small apartment space in the basement of the library and lived there with his German Shepherd, Petey.
Okay.
In his spare time, Jacob loved to play the violin and would often sit on the top floor of the library, serenading the building he loved. In November 1936, he was found dead of an apparent lung hemorrhage. He was buried in Hiawatha, Kansas, but many believed he never left. Patrons have reported the sound of toenails tapping on the floor. What?
Wow.
And others have often found sheet music left in unusual places when it's normally locked away.
We got an Eric Zahn situation here,
A
man.
little bit. Crossing dimensions. Patrons and employees alike have heard Jacobs return to provide ghostly strains of Strauss's waltzes on the
That's cool.
violin.
I like
Very weird. A senior library services specialist once reported seeing shadows out of the corner of his eye on the second floor of the Texas collection. He thought it was the shape of a man, but as soon as the man looked directly at the shadow, it would vanish. Also, lights in the Texas room have also known to flicker. If we only had living people as dedicated to their jobs as Mr. Kramer, things would be a little bit better.
it. Yeah.
But a ghostly violin playing, that's creepy
Love
as
it.
hell.
And the sheet music. I
Yeah.
picture it like I have this like crazy thing, like he's like on the roof going nuts with the violin,
Yes.
and like ghostly sheet music's falling down around him.
Yes.
And the whole library comes alive.
Yeah.
With readers and dancers alike.
Yeah.
Just enjoying the whole scene, the whole ghost scene.
Yeah.
You know?
Ghost scene.
And that's how it goes down for me.
Hey, I love it. Are the pages covered in ectoplasm?
Once they hit,
Once they hit, okay.
they leave ectoplasm pages because they're ghostly pages.
Gotcha. So they've been
that
manifested through the ghostly ether, and become
Yes.
ectoplasm. I like it.
You know what? We don't talk too much. People don't talk about the ether too much anymore.
'Cause it's fake.
I don't like that. No, I just mean in general.
That's what they thought space was.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, they thought it was like an element,
Yeah, it's nothing.
which
It's
is
just vacuum.
fun. Well, it's just fun.
Hey, Terrence Howard thinks it's still there.
Old
Terry.
War Machine. And I mean that old War Machine.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, right. All right, guys. So that's fun.
It's
The Edge Hill House Library, the private library in Franklin County, Virginia.
is that Fucker
what?
County?
It looks like it's. I try to church it up. It's literally Fucker County. I said Fuckweir County, but it's Fucker County, Virginia.
Yeah,
We're going Fucker.
Dude, any way you say it, it's offensive.
Yeah. Fauquuier. Fucker County, Virginia. Is said to be haunted by the ghost of Civil War Colonel William Chapman. There's a name that goes with the job.
Mm.
His presence has been reported to make loud noises during the night and lock doors within the 1790s house. So yeah, the loud. He's like, oh.
Actually, you know what's funny? What's funny is the this is one of the ones I have the least info on. I looked quite a bit, and like that's like the summation of everything that I found. It's his ghost. He's from apparently a local battle. He was killed during a local battle, and they hear his. I have his boot steps. You hear his boot steps. The loud noises during the night apparently are manifest as the sound of moving chairs or furniture.
Right.
And then the locking doors apparently are locking people out of the room that he stayed in.
Right, so he can ghost Jack.
No. When you're a ghost, you can do whatever you want.
Right, well, here, I came up with an actual quote that what he said right before he died.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, he said, I came to fuck her to fucked, but instead this bullet fucked me.
In fucker.
In fucker, yeah.
Wow.
Well, no, actually, here's another one. They buried him in a T-shirt that said, I came to fuck her. And all I got was this lousy T-shirt.
Wow.
And killed. At the end.
There could be another one. Get fucked in fucker. I got fucked by Colonel Chapman in Fucker, Virginia.
Just says God fuck.
Yeah.
God, you.
Or the front says "Get fucked" and the back says "In Fucker County, Virginia."
Yeah.
We're both 12 years old, folks. You know this by now.
Get out of here. Yeah.
Literally, that's all I have. It's very thin information on this one, and I guess they just include it because they can't. We all know you can't avoid a Civil War ghost. If someone brings up a Civil War ghost, you're putting it in there, no matter how sparse. Yeah. Because no matter
they came up with he's locking the door and he's ghost jacking. That's what's going
right.
on. Good old ghost road.
Yeah, like that fake trailer.
Yeah, hand job cabin.
Cabin. That's about Fucker County, Virginia.
Based on Fucker County, Virginia, and fucking Colonel William Chapman.
Yeah.
I almost said Colonel Julius Frank Kramer, because that would work too.
Yeah, I heard they both like stew, so it works.
If they don't, they need to get infected with it quickly.
All
right, guys. So let's go over to the Murray and Leon Guggenheim Memorial Library.
Mm-hmm.
The college library at the Monmouth University was originally built in 1905. This is a young one. As the summer home of mining and smelting entrepreneur Murray Guggenheim. It is said that the lady in white walks down. There we go. Another one.
Yeah.
Said that a lady in white walks down a staircase at midnight when the library closes. Give me more.
Yeah, we love it.
More of it.
So instead of just reading some silly background stuff, I found a bunch of letters from good old Weird New Jersey. One of my favorite publications out of my home state. So we have this letter from a woman named Holly Ford. She says, I attended Monmouth University, which is in New Jersey, in the fall and did a paper on the ghost of the Guggenheim Library. The ghost that is thought to haunt the library is Leonie Guggenheim. I asked around to get information and was told by 2 employees of the library that she walks down the staircase every night at midnight. No one is allowed to be there, though, and the keeper shuts down that part of the library at 11:30 and will not let anyone else in. I was fascinated with this and chose to study alone close to closing one night in Leonie's sitting room. While studying, I felt confident the story was a fake. Then I heard a loud thud from the hallway. I blew it off and thought perhaps it was somebody who had dropped a book in one of the other rooms. A while later, I heard another loud thud and this time was more alarmed. I ran out in the hallway to see if someone was there, but no one was. Again, I thought nothing of it and went back to my studies. Then, sometime later, I heard another thud, and this time I was sure someone else was there. I ran into the hallway and inspected the other rooms, but nobody was in them. I felt weirded out and gathered my things and got the heck out of there. A few days later, I told one of the librarians about it, and she looked at me with alarm and said, "Never study alone up there at night." The camera zoomed right in her face.
Yeah.
I asked her why, and she said, "Well, it's just not safe." Many students feel that the school was trying to conceal what really goes on up there. The library was actually the summer cottage of Murray and Leone. Even before I had heard the tales, I had an eerie feeling like something was watching and didn't want me in there. So we've got one more little letter. This is great. It's from Anonymous. Many years ago, I worked for the police department at Monmouth College. Oh, that's why it's Anonymous. Now Monmouth University in West Long Branch. I became quite familiar with the ghosts that haunt many of the buildings on campus. Mrs. Guggenheim was blind, and at night one can hear her cane tapping along the halls. That's a good detail.
That's cool. I like
A
that.
bathroom window in the building goes up and down on its own, and a white man sits in the courtyard early in the morning. Ooh, not a white lady, a white man. That's interesting.
All right.
Woodrow Wilson Hall, which was built as the summer home for President Wilson, is also haunted. Many years ago, there was a fire in the building, and 2 firemen were killed in the elevator shaft. People have reported at night hearing the sounds of fire and the screaming and yelling of the firemen.
Don't like it.
In the Guggenheim Theater, you can find an upstairs window going up and down on its own, and a woman laughing inside when you keep trying to close it. The police headquarters is also haunted. The house used for headquarters was actually the summer home of boxer Jack Dempsey. Locked doors open and close on their own. A woman in white nightgown has been seen walking up the stairs at midnight, and an officer that died during the 1980s tends to come back and visit from time to time. He usually likes visiting during the daytime. So that place is
Not your ordinary night visitor. You got a day walker of sorts.
yeah, kind of. So that place has got it going on.
I like the Jack Dempsey little
Yeah,
little tidbit in there.
yeah.
Oof. You know what I think it is though? They probably close it down because they don't want fucking idiot kids just like gathering.
Yeah, coming in with their fucking, their cans of Hamm's beer and just throwing them
Yeah,
everywhere.
Yeah, their PKE meters. Trying to draw the go. See? The night watchman just like, I just want to go home and have my own Hamm's beers.
Yeah, he's like, I want
Much
to.
like I would say
Yeah.
after when I was a bouncer, and I'd be like, all right, everyone get out.
Yep. He's getting
wanna go
overtime
home and
pay,
drink
but
that.
he just wants to go home.
Yeah. It's not worth
He's got a can of Dinty Moore stew sitting on the counter that he just wants to crack open.
it. He wants to put it directly on the gas stove,
Yeah, cook it in the
there.
can.
Yep.
Diet.
It's already cracked open too.
Yep.
He's just letting it bubble.
Yep.
Puts it down on a plate.
Mm-hmm. I like
Maybe
it.
gives a little to his dog.
I like it.
Lives in a trailer. It's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I don't know.
Yep.
I don't know.
Mhm.
All right, guys. Second to last one here.
Yep.
The Parmley Billings Library. A dark-haired woman in the basement and a whistling ghost and a ghostly man wearing jeans and work boots. This is your house.
Yeah.
On the second floor are just some of the haunts of the Parmley Billings Library.
Yep.
Acquisitions librarian Karen Stevens wrote a book about these and other hauntings titled Haunted Montana.
Now, what's crazy is that all these ones that we've gone through, it's like, yeah, we got a decent amount of stuff here. This one has so much information, it's nuts. And why? I don't know why. There's so many reported hauntings here that it's like, it's wild. Same kind of situation. I'm not going to go through the whole backstory. It's the same kind of thing. They move locations, new buildings, that whole kind of thing. But the history of their ghostly manifestations is pretty interesting. So not much is known why these entities are staying in the Parmley Billings Library building. Makes me think of a chicken parm. And now I want one.
Dude.
Nice chicken parm hoagie.
Yeah, dude. Well, just chicken parmigiano with some capellini, dude.
I like
The
it.
wife, the tank top is.
Yeah, it's coming through. Got some sauce.
Yeah, it's coming through me right now. Yeah, some gravy.
So listed below are possible reasons for the paranormal activity. Public places like libraries, theaters, parks that have provided people with a lot of pleasure and joy sometimes are the places that entities like to visit or even stay as residents in the afterlife. A library in a small town is a great source of entertainment, offering books, etc. Some of the entities here must enjoy reading. We don't know. People enjoy working in museums, libraries, theaters, and charities have an invested interest in this passion and sometimes like to come back and continue on, making their presence known. That's suggesting if these ghosts are really, spirits and not some kind of residual type thing. Sometimes
Or demon.
Right, demon. Sometimes it could just be the residual energy that they left behind as well. Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah.
Perhaps an entity who has former resource librarian or volunteer is helping in the basement and supervising the staff. I mean, it goes on with this. Sometimes it's people are attached to things. There's good feelings about the place they were at,
Yeah.
and then that the basement is filled here with old, valuable book collections and resource items that perhaps were donated by someone to the library, and they can be used only through a librarian. So these things might have things attached to them. You might have this
Yeah.
collection that has this storied history, and then it's
Well, that's it. You found it.
yeah.
That's where all this is spawning from.
Right. So, as you mentioned before, in the Haunted Montana book, Karen Stevens, she laid out a bunch of these entities that have been encountered here. And these are just a few of the highlights, and I think these are kind of cool. We have the entity of a tall man on the 5th floor.
Ugh.
Yes. He was first seen by a no-nonsense security officer. Described as being a very tall, over 6-foot apparition who likes to hang around the staff lounge room and kitchen. The security officer reported that he looked like he was dressed in white. A second witness was a new employee reading a book in the lounge. She looked up for a moment and saw a very tall, smoky-colored, glass-like man come out of the kitchen who did a quick about-face when she saw him. Ugh.
I'm just picturing the dude from It Follows in the hallway.
Oh, yeah, the big dude, yeah.
Yeah.
Oof. So then we have the entity of a female, and she can be seen on the 3rd floor. Described as being medium height, with shoulder-length brown hair and glasses. This female entity appeared as a full person, very lifelike. A staff member saw her, but before he could enter the room and find out if she needed something, she vanished. This same staff member also heard a woman's disembodied laugh while working all alone on the 3rd floor, several times.
Yeah, that'll happen.
Yeah, well... actually, brown hair, medium height, with glasses. Is this Beeb?
She's out there.
Oh.
She always shushes me, so
There it is. Then we have another male entity.
she shushes and vanishes. That's what it is. Yeah.
This is male entity number 1 on the 2nd floor.
Okay. Okay.
Described as wearing work clothes and cowboy boots. It is thought that he may be just residual energy by some because he never reacts to living people. His see-through form is seen going about his business in his own world on the 2nd floor, ignoring what is going on around him. That's what's down here, buddy. Same thing.
Yes.
Same thing.
And it's yelling, instead of yelling cowboyish stuff, it's yelling German.
It doesn't say anything.
Us.
just to you, buddy. Then we have male entity number 2 on the 2nd floor. He appeared as a full or semi-see-through figure. This tall entity appeared at the corner of the northeast bookstack row, showing many details of this person observed by a brave volunteer before fading away, becoming unseen yet still felt. Interesting. The volunteer, of retired military policeman, not easily scared, described this entity as being around 6 feet tall, with light brown hair to dark blonde hair, wearing a dark, heavy shirt and pants, a heavy ankle-high work shoe, and a square hat with a bill on it. While having a stare down...
Train worker kind of style?
I don't know. That's kind of a square hat with a bill on
With
it.
with a bill. So like
Yeah.
a boxy
Maybe.
Pittsburgh Pirate, old school
Yeah,
style.
yeah, maybe one of
fucking
those.
Goofy cat.
Yeah, one of those, maybe. So while having a stare down with this entity, the volunteer staff member reported feeling the telltale tingly feeling on his body. Right after the entity vanished, this volunteer made a beeline to the northeast aisle, where he not only felt stronger tingly sensations, but also saw startling evidence of someone having read books in comfort like a living person. So I guess he saw...
What?
This is all quotes. So I'm guessing someone was reading books. Like there was just evidence of books.
read
yeah.
books in comfort.
Yeah.
Okay.
He also saw startling evidence of someone having read books in comfort like a living person.
Okay.
So, all the books had been put back on the shelves before closing, and at 6:30 a.m. the library was closed to patrons, except perhaps the spirit people.
Yeah. We're doing Disney World stuff.
Karen Stevens, who had started working as a historical resource person at this library in 1986, explained some activity in detail that happened in the basement. The basement is not open to the public unless it seems that you are a spirit. This lady has to work on her wording. Got that if you want.
No, I don't
People
care. Leave it
hear
in.
unexplainable odd noises. Light cords will suddenly swing wildly without any help from the living, or from vibrations or heating air conditioning ducts. Staff who work in the basement have felt that they were being carefully watched.
Carefully watched.
Yes.
Like they do at a library.
Right.
They watch if you're mucking about.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So we have the entity of a young male in the basement, described as being a solid gray form. Often seen out of the corner of the eye by staff members for a brief moment, Karen herself described her experience with this young male entity in the book stacks. Yeah. Then we have the entity of the woman in the basement, described as being a dark-haired, intense woman.
So be
Okay. I'd go with my wife.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Has been glimpsed by many staff members and has made herself known to particular people in the basement. One librarian went into the basement in 2003 to get a book for a patron. Imagine her surprise when she saw a dark-haired, solid woman crouching down behind the book stack. She looked real, but the librarian knew that she wasn't. Okay. She turned around and made a beeline toward the elevator, feeling that this entity was following her. As the librarian entered the elevator, she felt the entity's presence right by the door, but the librarian didn't look up to see her.
It was probably literally someone looking for a book, and like they were like, "Wait, miss."
Yeah.
Wait, and she's like,
But she was on all fours climbing after her. And another thing I know about libraries is that homeless people wander in there all the time.
Oh yeah.
And I had a friend that used to work at a library, and like at the end of the night, his job was to get this one particular one out of the bathroom.
Yeah, and then wipe down the loads.
And the shit everywhere.
yeah, right.
Right. And then we have finally the activity reported during the 2005 fire code renovations. Workmen who were hired to work on these important upgrades during the nighttime hours soon found that they were not alone. Entities made themselves present in a variety of general ways, letting the workmen know that they had company, even watching them closely as they worked. One such instance is described below. One worker was putting up drywall. When he turned around, all the chairs and the table behind him were turned toward him, like a bunch of entities were watching him work. He turned the chairs back and continued working on the project. Stopping to rest, he again saw the chairs had turned without a sound toward him. One worker even had an unseen presence keep him company, following him up in the elevator.
That's the problem. Should have never touched the chairs.
No.
He could have just been like, "Oh, that was on my mind."
Yep. He
Had to go fucking monkey with the chairs, turn them around, and then guess what? You get proof
Yep.
positive you're being watched by ghosts.
And that's the problem with aliens. Yeah. So that's what I have for the Parmley Billings Library and all their multitude of ghosts.
Yeah, well, this last one, Synchronicity, we've been talking about Phoenix a lot and Arizona a lot. This is the Phoenixville Public Library,
In-
but
Pennsylvania.
it's in Pennsylvania.
Yep. Not too far from here, actually.
Yeah, it is. It is not. There's a couple things in Phoenixville actually.
We went to go see a
Pretty
movie
cool
there,
vibe.
and then we were like, hey, there's not enough parking. You want to just get the fuck out of here? I'm like, yeah.
I was like, I'm drinking all your NyQuil because I'm sick as shit.
Yeah.
I remember, yeah.
Yeah.
That was a fun fucking romp. All right, so back the Phoenixville Public Library is in Pennsylvania, and it is haunted by 3 different ghosts that inhabit the recently renovated 1902 building. One is described by the library's executive director, John Kellias.
You got me, buddy.
Kellias. We'll say Kellias. A lady wearing a bustle dress who haunts the attic. The library was investigated in 2006 by the Chester County Paranormal Research Society. I think I've had some run-ins with these guys.
Yes.
With this gang.
Yes.
The Chester County Paranormal Boys, they go places, man. I think I've
Yeah.
might have bought chess once or twice with these bros. Yeah?
Yeah, I've actually heard about this one. I don't know where, but I there's a listener who's a friend of the show. I think she may have mentioned this to me. The public library in the borough of Phoenixville, PA, began life in 1896 as the Public Library of Phoenixville School District after prominent citizens took advantage of a newly passed law which allowed schools to own and operate public libraries. A donation of books from the Young Men's Literary Union served as the core of the collection. In 1901, the town contacted steel magnate Andrew Carnegie, who had been bestowing libraries on worthy communities around the United States. He was up to something. I'm sure there's like some kind of like altar to Baphomet in the fucking basement.
Sacred, architecture, geometry,
Yeah.
bullshit
Yep.
going on where it's
Yep, it's the roof is actually in the shape of Moloch, something. He agreed.
Yes.
Yes.
Fact.
Uh-huh. He agreed and sent architect's plans along with $20,000, which was probably like, what, 600 million? That's the correct exchange rate?
20,000, so thousands of millions, so 20 million.
Oh, okay. Sure, that totally gelled with what you said before.
That is. It was. I said 2,000. That's like 2 million.
All right.
So it's every thousands of million in this.
All right.
Continue.
Fine. The new library building opened a year later. Over the years, the library saw many changes, including a children's library in the basement and other remodeling in the main library. In the 50s, the school district expanded, and patrons living within the school district had access to the library service for free. Those living outside the public school were charged $5 per family. In the 1960s, the State Library of Pennsylvania provided funding to the library to expand its collection to 1.5 books per capita. By 1978, the Phoenixville Public Library joined the Chester County Library System, which would increase the funding for the library at $1 per capita. Today, the Phoenixville Public Library has the third largest circulation of all the libraries in Chester County, with 69,000 pieces. Amazing.
That is.
Do you think
sweet.
they have 69,000 ghosts?
Yes.
Okay. Though there isn't a lot of detailed information, there are a few ghosts believed to haunt this 100-year plus building. First, there's the lady in the attic, like you mentioned. No one knows the story. They don't know why she's up in the attic. And according to the gentleman that you mentioned before, this is John Keeley, spelled different. It looks like we're getting different information this time.
Maybe this was just one of those typos because it's here. It's Kelleyas. So I'm like Kelias.
Yeah. So this is Kelley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right there. You
There's
go.
typo. So John Kelly, and he doesn't know why, but she seems to be having a grand old time up there, and she's in a bustle type dress. Probably from the period, which is interesting that she's in the attic. She was probably a sacrifice to Moloch.
It sounds literally like the Haunted Mansion ride.
Kind of.
With the bride
Yeah,
in the
exactly,
attic.
with the axe, yeah. Another site stated that a man and his dog, which could probably be the haunting on the front lawn of the library, that another site made reference to. So, man and a dog. Interesting.
That's just the ghost life I want. If that,
Yeah.
just me and my ghost dog,
Yep.
just like
No time
chilling.
constraints. Just do what you want. I'm into it. A crew from the para-reality show Scared
Familiar.
filmed an entire episode at the library, and one investigator was allegedly really spooked in the office down in the children's library in the basement. When a more local investigation group, Chester County Paranormal Research Society, spent the night in the library, their electronics seemingly went crazy. A night surveillance camera even caught a book flying off the shelf. Pretty crazy.
Whoa.
Whoa. Further research indicated that there are 3 ghosts. Oh boy, it's the ghostly trio. But no details were forthcoming, so it is assumed that the 3 areas of the library people feel are haunted are the 3 in question. So it's one of these ones where they've got ghosts, they just haven't gotten their shit together to give them names yet, because that's how you make the ghost money.
Yeah. And it's not even like get your shit together. It's like no one has been creative enough or even stole IPs enough yet.
I think I just heard the call. Did you just hear the call? To go in there and just be like, oh, your ghost is, give me a snappy name, Ken.
Yeah. Frederick.
Yep.
It's Frederick.
Yeah, there you go. Yep.
Frederick.
You come in.
Willits.
You-
It's Frederick Willits.
You got to come in with like a weird hat on, and then you get in there and you take the hat off, and that's when your powers are activated.
Yeah. And you do it. You lean to the right a little bit.
Yep.
And take it, and you hold it over your chest.
Yeah.
As you raise your hand.
Yep.
Or your head.
Yep. And then you can.
And you do a little smile, like a knowing smile, like I know something you don't know.
You can just look
I'm gonna
with
rake you
a
over the coals.
with a warm smile. You look at the lady. I think the place is going to speak to us today.
Yeah. Exactly. Because they're in. They're already into it. They're
Really?
like, yeah. Oh my God. Tell me what you know.
Yep. And then you can
And if
say,
you did tell them what you know, yeah, you're an idiot.
yep, and tell them you see a body swinging. The whole thing.
I see a body
Yeah.
swinging.
Yeah.
I see a body swinging.
Rope.
Yep. Well, that's 10, not all of them, but that's 10 haunted libraries around the country.
Yeah, they exist, and there's a good amount of them. These are just some of the fun ones that have all the good old fashioned book tossing, music playing,
Yeah.
voices yelling.
Yeah. And
Good old fashioned hauntings that we like.
And I think what adds to the creep factor for these libraries, if you're there, you're a college student or any kind of student, and you're there and there's not a lot of people there, there's that liminal space kind of thing that everybody's into these days, where it has that quality of just those long lines of the stacks, and there's a quietness to it. There's a mustiness always, no matter what library you're in. You always and you kind of always seem like you're out of time a little bit because libraries are rarely updated. So you're sitting in a library that hasn't been updated since the 1960s or shit. Some shit.
Yeah, because it all relies on donations and city funding that never comes through. Because they're always like, we promise that we're gonna rebuild the library, and then once it comes, they're like, yeah, what's up with fucking the bowling alley, dog?
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
always saying they don't care about the library.
Yep.
But the kids, we don't care about their art and sports programs.
No, what do they need that for?
Yeah, we're gonna do drinking in the streets. That's our next thing. I'm just gonna go nuts. It's gonna be a festival every 2 months in this town. We'll make up a cryptid.
Oh, my town needs a cryptid.
Hey, man. No time like the present.
I know.
We should create the Drexel Hill Dragon or something.
It's a little too on the nose. I want the Drexel Hill
Yeah, but those are the ones that work. They love them.
Yeah, but okay. I gotta pay some I don't know, some maniacs to say that they saw him.
Demon Dog.
Like the Drexel Hill Ghoul.
See, that's cool. See, yeah, I mean, but a lot of people might not go crazy over the ghoul. Like, we would like the ghoul.
Yeah, but he's been seen exiting the cemetery with a fucking arm or a partial body.
I'm cool with that. We got to get someone talking because we could do it over here. We could do the Trevos Terror, and it could just be an amalgamation of the Mothman and Jersey Devil and Bigfoot and the Dogman. They'll just throw them all together, and you're like, yeah, no, it had wings and it was eating a person.
All the hits. You put all the best.
All of them.
You put all the best qualities, and then you just rake in the cash.
And then eventually, the cops, when the person sees it, and they're like, what was it? And they're just go, it's terrifying.
What was it?
So, terror. It was terrifying.
It was fear incarnate.
Yeah, it was fear. It was fear itself. Trevos, the Trevos Terror.
Yeah.
And then we make $1 million, and then we quit our jobs, and then we
Look,
we
man,
just make
that's all I want.
cryptids. Yeah, right.
We'll come to your.
so much.
Is it? I don't think so. We come to your town and we make up your cryptid, and then you forget about what we said, and then
Yeah, we'll design it just like they do on what Mountain Monsters. How
Right.
they do the 3D model. We'll design it. We'll hire 12 jagoffs to run in the woods.
Yeah.
And come out.
Yeah.
And be like, I can't believe I saw it different times.
Ken and Jay show up with their patented 12 jagoffs. There you go.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And they'll be from different.
I'm starting it
they'll
this
be all
year.
Diverse.
I'm gonna start
diverse.
I'm gonna go old school campaign information campaign. I'm gonna start putting flyers. Have you seen the Drexel Hill Ghoul?
Yeah.
Dude, the kids around here, because this is a walking town, because there's no busing here, so all the kids have to walk to school. It will blow up. I'm doing it. It's a project. I'm doing it.
If you don't fucking do it, I'm going to be so mad at you.
We're doing it.
Oh, yeah. Oh, dude, I'll be up there. I'll knock on doors. I'll do a character.
Yeah.
Excuse me, sir. I don't know if you've heard about this. Or I'll do crazy fucking wild-eyed doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sir. We've been testing in our lab.
I've heard the only thing that stops them is a big pot of stew.
Yeah, I'll show up. Excuse me, sir. And I'll have the pickaxe.
Gotta get you that
and
fucked
the
up
tilted hat.
with the front. Yeah.
The front up,
Yep.
I'm like, oh, darn. We heard there's a ghoul. We were digging down at the cemetery.
Dude, I'm starting it. I'm gonna start in maybe end of this month. Start call this number if you've seen the Drexel Hill Ghoul.
I actually have a third phone number.
Yeah.
And a third phone that we use for nothing.
You know what I should do instead of that? I should set up a Gmail. Folks, you're hearing the beginning of this. We'll start a Gmail. Drexel Hill
You'll
Ghoul.
be a part of it. They'll be a part to see how far we can go.
gmail.com.
Yeah.
If you've heard or seen anything about this, drop it here, and then we could start a fake Instagram and say here's some sketches.
Yeah, not only that, we could even get Ryan to wear something in the distance.
What do you mean wear something?
No, I mean
Just
paint him up.
Ryan.
But let's get him even crazier.
Right.
Dude, I went on a website the other day. It was chaotic.com, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, it's one of these fucked up ones.
I know what it is.
Yeah. And the first thing, couple has sex at band's It was Ryan. It was the
Yep.
first fucking one.
Yep.
I was like, holy shit!
he's
This
still-
was this week.
He's still. I wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I guess it was a form of sex, but I don't want to go into this.
Yeah, I didn't either. Yeah. Yeah. See, well, let's not use Ryan. Let's get someone skinnier. Who do we got that's skinnier and lankier?
His brother, and he's just as weird, Robert.
Oh, fuck you. But what with the Hobbit feet?
Holy shit, that's good. All right, we can't have any more planning session on the air,
Yeah,
folks.
right,
this is
right,
going to be
right,
fun.
right.
I'm totally doing this, like some photocopied stuff, stapled to some fucking telephone poles.
Yeah.
Totally. Have you seen the Drexel Hill Ghoul?
Yeah. Just in time for Halloween.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Say yes.
some more news may be coming other here, this and that. We're working on it. But, all right, guys, I guess for this episode of Other Dangerous Podcast, I've been Ken James.
And I've been Jason McKittrick.
And as always, have a spooky evening. Thank you for listening to Other Dangerous Podcasts. Have you encountered the other dangers? If so, you can email us at otherdangerouspodcast@gmail.com. And if you'd like to have a discussion about the paranormal, you can find us at Other Dangerous Podcast on Facebook and Instagram. There you can find submitted pictures, videos, and artwork from listeners. We are now streaming on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and anywhere else podcasts are streamed. And after listening, please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so we can continue to bring you the other dangers.